show.
In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian, because the work is so important.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to this special, what are we calling this here? Monday night edition of the cult of Ron and Brian. There we go. Got the wrong little banner up there with our Christmas hats. There we are.
Listen, I know some people have started their Christmas break, Ron. You and I still have work to do, my friend.
Right.
The work is so important, Ron.
Right,
Don't
it's so
tell
important
me
right now.
I don't want to hear that you've already started your Christmas break and that's why you're just half-assing it already. Let's be professional tonight.
Never, my friend. So it's episode 384. It's a special Monday night pre-Christmas. I guess this is what a Christmas Eve special we're doing here. And Brian, how the hell are you, my friend? Good to see you after all this time.
Listen, I'm going to say this to you. You know, it feels like it's only been 8 days, but it's felt more like an eternity.
There's a gap in my heart that can only be filled by you at times. I think I can safely say.
If there's anything that I like more than filling the holes in you, with myself.
Fair enough. Well, let's get things rolling as we always do with Drink of the Week.
Drink of the Week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the Week.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
All right, Brian, what did you bring as your drink of the week this week?
Ron, you absolutely know that I cherish the concept of hitting the duty-free shops whenever I am doing international travelage because what you get access to certain Scotch whiskeys that you cannot get in the stores. As close friends of the show know, I recently did an international trip. That's right. I woke up in London this morning, went to Heathrow, flew back into JFK earlier today, ran home so I could do this show on time. Beat Ron, by the way, to logging in to do the show, but there's no bragging there. What the bragging is that I am sampling the Glenlivet special triple cask matured. That is correct. This here, Ron, it feels like a gigantic ass bottle in my hand.
But looks amazing, my friend.
Look at that rich color. Look at this. Look at the label, Ron. But more importantly, let me tell you a little bit about this fine whiskey. I'll show you the glass that I have. It's a light color. However, this is a travel exclusive. It's a through skillful interplay of whiskeys matured in 3 different types of casks. The triple cask series amplifies the depth and complexity of the original floral, fruity taste of the Glenlivet single malt. The 3 cask types of American white oak casks, traditional casks, and ex-sherry casks. And you know those people who know the type of whiskey I like. It always comes out of the sherry cask. It's got a little sweetness to it. These casks have been married in varying proportions to produce 3 unique whiskeys. This is the Distiller's Reserve. You will also be able to get the White Oak Reserve and the Rare Cask. This is the Distiller's Reserve that I chose to sample. I'm going to take a sip right now.
Yes, please, and let us know how it is.
Ooh, that's good.
Talk me through it. Talk to me about the notes, the flavor, the nose.
You definitely get some oak. There's definitely oaky in here, but it's also like the sweet is subtle. It is a subtle sweetness. It's not an over the top like a Macallan 12 sherry cask that I like. This is very. There's a little caramel I'm tasting in there, maybe a little notes of vanilla. This bottle is going to do some damage over the holidays. I'm going to tell you that, Ronald.
I mean, is
That's my
it
drink of the
worthy
week.
of its residence in the ivory tower?
Oh yes, though its residence here will not last long. I can trust you that. If this is my drink of the week and I'm already down here, oh, the
Yeah, I don't
lady
picture
will
that
not be
lasting through
happy.
the end of the year.
You know, the lady's going to sit there, open up my whiskey bar over here, and be like, when did that bottle appear? Because it doesn't look familiar to me."
Santa Claus brought it.
Oi, mate, Ron, may I ask
Yes,
you a question?
you may, of course.
I know it's Monday. I know this is not our usual recording night. I know you seem to be a little bit more dressed up. This is probably what you wore to work today or whatnot. You are a quarter zip finance bro. But the question I have for you is, what are you drinking?
So, Brian, I had hoped to have a new crate of beers from Tavor in hand by today. But the good
Okay.
people at UPS felt the need to damage the box while it was in shipping, and so had to send it back. It was going to be my beef of the week until another thing came up to push it out of the way.
Ooh.
But thanks to UPS, I did not have any new beers this week. So I went back. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks back, I made a drink with the Stella Rosa pistachio cream liqueur. Well,
Wasn't
this
that?
week,
I thought that was last week when you had the
I was like 2 weeks
green.
ago, I believe. Who knows? Time has no
It's
concept in
last
the
week.
podcast.
Keep going.
So I decided to I had one more packet of that delightful Cadbury hot chocolate that we brought back
Ooh,
from London when we went for your wedding. So
Bedfordshire.
I made it in my favorite This Guy Loves Boobies mug, and I put a
You
shot
do
of
love
that.
boobies.
I put a shot of that pistachio cream in here, and oh, it's giving Dubai chocolate vibes. The only thing that could have
Yep.
made it taste better is if you had to stand in line 2.5 hours to get it for me.
Wow. Hurtful.
Oh, that's how I know you love me, Brian, is you do those things for me. But in the meantime, I just mentioned it. Let's talk about our beefs of the week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
I have two beefs. One minor, one major. We're going to start with the minor one. This week, it appeared. Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going? Ron's just running off screen. This week, it looks as if Facebook took away the Messenger app on Mac computers. Now,
Really?
for those, yes, I know I had read when I opened up Messenger, the Messenger app on my MacBook a couple weeks ago, said that they were sundowning the software, and that moving forward, I have to
Interesting.
use a web browser. Now, a huge pain in the ass, because there are people who I am familiar with who prefer using Messenger as a way to communicate to me. And now when I'm using my laptop, that means I have to open up the Facebook app and use the Messenger function within that, which sucks. The user interface stinks. So those people are going to start getting text messages from me. I'm talking to you, Ron. But
Yeah, I know.
more importantly, this is my true beef of the week. I had a family issue popped up that caused me to require flying out to London short notice. So I don't know about you, Ron, whether you've looked into airfare flights from New York to London the week before Christmas. I don't know if you've spent much time looking at
Not
one-way
a ton,
fares.
but I can imagine it'd be problematic, would probably be a good word to say.
So I log. United is my airline of choice.
Sure.
They fly. Their hub is Newark, so it's close to my house here near the Ivory Tower. One way was over $2,000. Just one way, $2,000 for nonstop flight, mind you, nonstop from Newark to Heathrow. It's about 2,000 for economy. People, it's not for first class. For economy,
Just
two
a
grand
basic
for
seat.
so I was just like, I'm not having any of that. So what I did figure out I could do was I could fly from Newark. And this doesn't really make sense geographically, but somehow they made it make sense. Is that for $900, I could fly from Newark to Chicago. Then I have like an hour.
Basically, you have to go south away from where you live to go west, or to then travel east.
Yeah, I have to basically go halfway across the country to Chicago, which is a 2.5 hour flight, to then get on a flight that's leaving to Heathrow. So I've got like an hour changeover. I'm like, it's going to be close. I'm a little nervous. I haven't done a layover in a while because I don't trust the airlines. You hear all these horror stories of people missing their flights and getting stuck overnight in an airport. And I needed to get to London rather fast. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. So I packed up my suitcase. Ron, you will correct me and ask me the real question of who actually packed my suitcase. And I'm going to say my lovely wife did. Lovely wife packed my suitcase. So I just basically took it. Go to Newark.
Wait, are you saying your wife had a go bag ready for you, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she did. Okay. So I'm at Newark, and my flight now is delayed. Starts off delayed by 10 minutes. Then it's delayed by 20 minutes. Then they start disembarking the plane, I guess, that we're about to get on. They start disembarking wherever it was coming from. So people start getting off the plane. I am livid. My brain, I'm like, I'm going to get stuck. I know this. I'm going to get stuck in Chicago, but I have no choice. If I say, fuck it, I don't go.
Question here. It is kind of lore of this podcast, what a sweaty individual you are. What kind of panic sweat is going on as you are waiting to see when this plane is going to disembark?
I could feel my shirt stuck to my back because I was also wearing a sweater on top, a wool sweater.
You're dressed for the weather.
It gets cold on the plane. I also knew I was going to Chicago, whatever. I knew it was going to be bad. So the plane disembarks, and now I'm like, all right, people, I know they're going to have to like clean, walk through the plane or whatever, clean. So 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by. I am literally saying aloud, I'm that guy in the airport saying like, what the fuck are we waiting for? What's going on here? Like I'm saying this out loud. People are looking at me. Then I'm going to watch my words here, Ron, because I believe you and your lady got the real text messages.
Oh, we did. That's for sure.
Words were actually talking to me. But suddenly I see at the bottom of the walkway coming up is this woman wheeling a wheelchair. And as it gets closer, I see a person in the wheelchair, head literally at a 90-degree angle. Like if you had just cracked the neck and just turned it side, like I can't even replicate without moving my chest. The head was at a 90-degree angle. There was, I believe, what looked to be a trachea tube going in. Keep in mind, Ron, we waited over 15 minutes for this person. I think it was over 20, but I don't want to say definitely because I might be excited. It was like 20 minutes. We'll just call it 20. So at 20 minutes of waiting, I am panic sweating. I'm like, I am gonna be late to London. My lady is going to kill me. You understand the circumstances here. I had to get to London.
Yes.
This thing gets wheeled off, and it had those like bulging fucking eyes, like the head pressure, like God had stepped down and just squeezed the head to the point where the eyes were about to bug out.
So
do a Google search, people. It was like, do a Google search for Brian Peppers. This is exactly
would you say it was similar to when on Total Recall, when Arnold Schwarzenegger is trapped on the surface of Mars with no oxygen? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So this thing is like,
can you maybe not refer to this person as this thing? It comes across even more insensitive when you do that.
Ron, in that moment, I needed to get on that plane, and I needed that plane to take off. And the consequences for me, if that plane didn't take off on time, were awful. So finally, they wheel the potato off. And they start because at least during that period of time, they had readied the plane for takeoff. So as soon as the thing came off, they started loading us in. So we loaded up. I'm sitting in the seat. To make a long story short, we take off. We're in as soon as we take off. You can connect to the. This is going to be a long story. I'm terribly sorry, people. I was able to connect to the United app, which works on a United plane with Wi-Fi. And I can see that my flight from Chicago leaving on time. At one point, they even said they had started boarding. And I've got a 10-minute window from the time I'm supposed to land to the time. So we left like 50 minutes later than we were supposed to. I've got 10 minutes. So we land. And as we're landing, they announce over the loudspeaker, we've got a couple of people here on this plane who have some really tight connections. So if you can raise your hand now, and if people, you look around, if you have those people sitting next to you or in your vicinity, if you can let them get off the plane, disembark fast before you, we'd really appreciate it. So I'm like, yeah. Fine.
Right here.
So we land. I literally jut out, run. I am 53 years old. These knees do not like running. I ran. Get to the proper gate, and there's one lonely woman standing there being like, oh, yeah. No need to run. We're delayed by about an hour, so you got plenty of time. I'm like, oh my God. This isn't my beef. We haven't even gotten to my. This is the setup to my beef, Ron.
All right.
This is the setup to the beef. So finally, we start loading the plane. And nowadays, one of the things I love about my woman is that she is smart enough. She has put AirTags, Apple AirTags, into our luggage.
Smart. I wondered that when you mentioned you had an AirTag. I'm like, that seems way too organized for Brian. It's making a lot more sense.
I would never even think of it. I would sit there and be like, I don't want an AirTag. Why? I don't want any, I'm not trying. I don't want anybody to track where I'm at. So as I get as I get onto the plane, I sit down and I'm like, just out of curiosity, I'm like, oh, I wonder where the luggage is. And you can see on the little map, the little figure of where I am and the figure where my luggage is. It's all the way over. Like if I'm over here, the luggage is over there. Not close to the plane. And they're like, okay, we have now closed the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take off now. We're going to pull the weather on Heathrow. It was about 28 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm like, oh, fuck. My suitcase is not on this plane. So now we like start taxiing. So now I'm on my phone. I am navigating. I'm looking at where my location is, and I'm seeing the airplane move. My location is moving, and my AirTag in the luggage is getting further and further away.
Not moving the same way that you are.
To make a long story short, Ron, the suitcase did not get onto the plane. I did. I got to London, and United was able to deliver the suitcase 2 days later to my lovely sister-in-law's house, where she accepted it, hand delivered it. But why, if you know that I'm going from point A to point B, why are you shipping my suitcase to point C in between so that I can miss my connecting flight? Fuck you, United.
Well, at least you got there, Brian, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah, it was. Ron?
Yes.
What's bothering you?
So my beef this week, Brian, is with the Netflix house in King of Prussia. My lovely wife said, you know what I'd like to do this Saturday? And I was like, whatever you want, dear, because whatever you want, I want to give you the world. And she said, I'd like to go to the Netflix house at King of Prussia Mall. And I said, why would you torture us by going to the King of Prussia Mall the final Saturday before Christmas?
Of course.
But she's like, oh, I'll drive. And I will say, when she says that she's going to drive, takes a lot of my arguments away. I mean, I still hate, going. So we drive. And it is as hellacious getting to the mall as you would imagine. It is as hellacious walking through the mall. But prior to going, I was like, what even is Netflix house? Like, she was like, I don't know. I just hear it's Netflix house. So we pulled up their website. So here's their fancy little website, which again, and I know you will take offense to this, where it's saying "Welcome to your new house, Philly." It is. I wouldn't even call King of Prussia Philadelphia adjacent. Like it is
No,
a
not at
good
all.
40 minutes from Philadelphia.
Sure.
But anyway, I start reading through it, and it has minimal locations that you can actually walk through without like paying money. So like let me scroll down to this
So
little
there's
map they have here.
upcharges on this?
So here's kind of the deal. You can go in on the bottom here, you see that red door. Like you can walk through there, and there's like a little
Sure.
walkway with some photo type setups. You can go up, you see where
Sure.
that burger is at. That's Netflix Bites. That's where you can buy some overpriced food. You can get a big ass Bavarian pretzel for $35. And then they have they have these experiences that you can go. So the experiences are what cost you money. So they've got like mini golf in there. Mini golf, Jerry. And then there are two experiences right now. They've got a one-piece interactive experience, which I guess is some anime that they did a live action show of. And then they have something based on Wednesday, the TV show. What's that?
Are we talking K-pop Demon Hunters?
I'm not talking K-pop Demon Hunters, although I am sure eventually there will be a K-pop Demon Hunters one.
Got it.
So
Got it.
my wife looks through. She's like, "Oh, let's try out the Wednesday Addams one. I'll buy us some tickets. We'll go for like the 4:00 showing." So we get there, we get through them all. We walk through the relatively limited things you can do for free. And then we go into the Wednesday portion, which is Eve of the Outcasts, which I guess is something from the show. I didn't watch the second season yet. So you start off, you walk into this room that is made to look like Wednesday Addams' dorm room at the academy. One half is hers, one half is her roommate, Enid, I think is her name. And then there's like a little scene on a screen in front of you that kind of sets it up like, oh, Wednesday, I'm turning into a werewolf, so you have to run the Eve of the Outcast and all the games and everything else, blah, blah, blah. The screen opens up. You walk into the actual place. They give you some tokens, and there's basically 13 carnival games that are tweaked a bit to meet the theme of the show. So I would say we were in there for like a good half hour just playing some of the games. I mean, it's like whack-a-mole and stuff like that.
Sure.
But we're walking, and it's like, but there's relatively little else. And so my wife is even like, yeah, this was a bad idea. She's like, especially for how much it cost.
How much did it cost?
How much do you think 2 tickets to the Wednesday interactive experience at Netflix cost?
I'm going to say $15 each person.
Oh, Brian, you are adorable. For 2 people, $98.
What?
Almost $100 for whatever that was that we went through. On top of the overpriced beer and drink that we bought at Netflix Bite.
Wow.
So hence this being my beef of the week.
So put that graphic back up for a moment, because I have some questions, which is, other than the Wednesday show, what other Netflix shows did they have tie-ins for?
So right now, just the One Piece. They apparently are going to have.
You look terrible in a bikini. You look terrible in a 2-piece. So I prefer you in a 1.
Understood. They're going to have a Squid Games interactive, and they're going to have a Stranger Things interactive in January. I guess they're still doing some construction on those. So the only 2 that they had available were the Wednesday interaction and the One Piece.
What is One Piece?
Brian, you ignorant slut. I told you that 5 minutes ago. It's an anime show that they did live action. Yes, Janelle, we had to pay. So anything you wanted to do apart from the gift shop, the restaurant, or they had the Stranger Things couch and lights and numbers from season 1 that you could take photos at. You had, different places that, in the general public area that you could take photos of. But those, of course, had a line of people like 20 deep, because I think what was happening is people were going there with like their 2 or 3 kids and realizing like, I'm going to have to drop like $200 to take our kids to each one of these damn exhibits, and like, not going to happen.
Right. The thing is this, I've seen ads for Netflix House on TikTok countless times over the past month, because you've got me on Philly Talk. You've got me on Philly talk. Philly is very concerned whether I'm TikTok is very concerned. Am I New York? Am I Philly? Am I like they're giving me two boobies. But it's just like so. Like I've seen ads for Netflix House constantly. Not sure exactly what the heck it was.
Yeah, and personal opinion, at that price point, I don't think it's worth it.
I think you could cut the price in half. It still wasn't worth it.
To your point, had it been like $15 a ticket, all right, I would say I maybe
something
got $15 worth of entertainment out of it.
Yeah, it's something to do at that point.
So that's my beef, Brian.
Ooh, I actually feel like I'd be more upset if I were you and I just spent $100 so that I could play whack-a-mole.
Well, and then it's the sitting a half hour at the entry lane into the mall because the light only lets like 5 cars in at a time, and then literally circling the mall waiting for somebody to be walking to their car to pull out so we can find a parking space. Oh, don't even get me I mean, I think I was already aggravated by the time I got in the mall, and by the time when the words, like, it was all like, how like in movies when somebody says something and it goes slow motion, like it was almost, she was like, I was like, how much was that? And she was like, $98. And I felt like a vessel in each side of my head, a blood vessel, just go. Exactly the experience I had that day.
Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing.
All right. In the meantime, Brian, we've got our stories of the week that we want to make sure we get to. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
Listen, Ron, we've had a bit that we've done multiple times on, which is called Dying for the Gram, which features stories of people who are so, how do I say, mesmerized at the concept of creating this perfect social media moment that they're willing to risk their lives, and in some cases, they're actually losing their life. Earlier this week, video was spiraling through social media of a Chinese tourist narrowly escaping death after getting smashed onto rocks by a giant wave while sightseeing in Egypt. Ron, do you have the video of it?
I believe we have it right here.
There we go.
Let's keep an eye on the woman in the lower right-hand corner here. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get a replay on that close up.
She's showing a lot of leg, inappropriate. Here we go.
That's going to sting. That's going to leave a mark. No doubt about it.
She's going to have some scratches. That's correct. The vacation had reportedly been visiting the Matru Eye, a scenic area in the Mersa Matru area that's very popular amongst tourists who flock there to view the striking rock formations and dramatic surf. Unfortunately, the tide can create unexpected crashes, posing risks for tourists standing too close to the surf zone, and as is in this case, the aforementioned woman. We do believe that she did survive the incident, sustained multiple abrasions across her body. Beg your pardon?
As I said, I believe that's what they're reporting. She survived.
Yes. So she did survive. I've not seen what account is hers. I know you said, Ron, you did like the way her legs look, so you wanted to know if we could follow her and reach out, but we'll see. That is my story of the week, people. Listen, it's not worth dying or putting yourself in physical danger for that social media moment. Just your life means more than social media.
Don't die for the gram, people. We've said it 1,000 times. What's that, Brian? What's my story of the week, you say? Sure. I'll get to it. You're a little jet lagged. I understand.
Brian, I've been up since I woke up today at 6:55 England time, which would have been 1:55 American time.
You're running on adrenaline right now. I get it. My story this week is about a gambler visiting from Puerto Rico who is accusing a Las Vegas strip property of letting him take $75,000 in credit to gamble after he was allegedly drugged and incapacitated. The federal lawsuit was filed on behalf of Michael Thompson against Aria Resort and Casino and its parent company, MGM Resorts. According to the lawsuit, on the night of January 23rd, 2024, Thompson was playing blackjack in the high-limit casino room and took out a marker for $10,000 and repaid it the same night. The suit said his last memory of that night was leaving the high-limit room around midnight, intending to return to his hotel room. His next memory was waking up the next morning handcuffed to the wall in the casino holding room. He was told by casino personnel that he was found sleeping in the Sky Suites lounge and allegedly lashed out at the security guards and was then detained. He was trespassed from the property without being told about his outstanding casino debt. When he contacted the casino, he learned he had $75,000 in unpaid markers. He alleges that he was deliberately drugged, and his condition should have been evident to Aria employees, but no one intervened. According to the lawsuit, he stated that he attempted to obtain details from Aria regarding the outstanding balance, but did not receive any information. As a result, he instructed his bank not to make any payment. Aria turned the matter over to the Clark County District Court, which charged Thompson with intent to defraud and theft. Following his arrest, Thompson did agree to pay restitution to solve the case, but now is seeking a jury trial and damages exceeding $75,000 to recover what he paid Aria.
What is your take on this? I kind of feel like he owes it.
I mean, I feel like, listen, if I feel anybody can say that, oh, I was incapacitated, I don't want to pay my $75,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like, not that I could really get inside the mind of someone who gambles a lot, Brian, but I feel like if you were successful early on and paid back that $10,000 vig, then you might have gone back and your luck turns bad, and then you're always, listen, as we have often said, you're only one hand away from winning all your money back, so you just got to keep at it. What's your take?
I think he owes every penny. I think unless he can prove that he was somehow provided drugs by the gaming establishment, or that somehow, then how do you not sit there and say that he owes the money?
Yeah, and again, I would imagine all casinos really have a lot riding on this, because if he does win, it gives people an opportunity to try and get out of these big debts. The flip side of the coin is casinos and sports books are motherfuckers, and they will try to cheat you out of whatever they can.
And you know what, Ron? What's one way that you can basically even the odds with these sports books in Vegas?
I mean, there's only one way I can think of, Brian, and that's to play our NFL Locks of the Week.
Locks.
Man, I thought I did some smooth segues, Brian, but that was like butter, my friend. Like butter. Butter.
I love the fact that you picked it up.
Your picks last week, you were looking at that Buffalo-Cleveland game. Cleveland was getting +9. You're like, I'm on the Shedeur Sanders train. If there's anything, I would like to be in the middle of that train between Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders. You said, give me Cleveland plus the points. Buffalo only wins 23-20. And you looked at New Orleans -3 against the Jets. You said that line could be 23 and I'd still take it. And sure enough, Saints win 29-6, bringing you to 32-0 on the season, my friend. Clearly, this gentleman that lost 75,000 in Vegas should have spoken to you. You would have told him to hit, not fold.
You know what I would have told him to do is to follow your locks of the week, Ron.
No.
You are now 32-0 after going 2-0 for the 16th straight week yourself. You saw Eagles -5.5 over the Commanders. You said Eagles all the way. This is their bounce back week. The Commanders suck. Eagles win 29-18. Also looked at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You said Baker Mayfield, not the quarterback he was at the beginning of the season. Panthers were getting 2.5. You said take those points, though I don't think you're going to need it. Panthers win the whole game 23-20. Ron, how do you do it?
Listen, I look greatness in the eyes on the other screen every single week here, and you push me to make me better. Now we're
What do you
getting
got
into
for next week?
This is the traditionally toughest time of the year to play. You have a lot of teams eliminated from playoff contention. You have teams that have already locked in. They can't really help themselves. But I like Detroit -3.5 at Minnesota. They need to win to make the playoffs. And I like Green Bay bouncing back from losing to Chicago, -3.5 at Baltimore. Brian, who do you like?
I've got the an anti-New York team. Patriots -13.5 over the Jets. Patriots with a struggled at different stages this year against the Jets. They will roll. They will win by 2 touchdowns. Raiders laying 1.5 at home against the Giants. Giants are terrible. Take the Raiders. Those are my locks of the week, Ron.
All right. Remember, bet with your head, not over it. But we're just saying you might be able to pay your mortgage off. Ryan, let's stay in the gambling realm. The good folks at Boston-based DraftKings, they are going to have to pay out almost $935,000 in winnings that they sought to have voided based on the Massachusetts Gaming Commission ruling against them by a 5-0 vote this past week. DraftKings told regulators that a patron had strung together a series of total hit wagers on Toronto Blue Jays player Nathan Lukes during the 2025 American League Championship Series. The patron then used them to form several multi-leg parlays. His bets hit when the player finished with 9 hits in the 7-game series. So basically, he was able to bet that player for getting 5 hits, 6 hits, 7 hits, and 8 hits. So apparently he should not have been able to chain those 4 bets together, along with some high probability NFL money line wagers. He said that was a mistake on their end, and because of that, it should have been voided. They disagreed with that argument. They had apparently misclassified a player as a non-participant in their system, which allowed them to make those bets. They also, now let's see here, Pennsylvania, the sons of bitches, allowed DraftKings to void the correlated selections. New Jersey denied the request along with
Jersey. You know why, Ron? Because we're New Jersey and you're not. Sorry.
This is not the first time DraftKings has asked to be let off the hook for a major payday in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Back on November 30th of 2026, the MGC voided 176 bets at DraftKings, which would have cost the site almost $576,000 in winnings. Instead, bettors were refunded their original wagers and given 3 times those totals in bonus bets. What I think is kind of aggravating here is that if those bets had not hit, they would have kept the bettors' money and nothing would have ever been said about that afterwards.
Of course. Absolutely, those little fuckers. Yeah, this is the thing. They rig it. The odds are so difficult to make money off of this that to then feel the need to figure out a way to screw over one of your customers when they actually do happen to win, it's so offensive to me.
Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, it's going to cost them $1 million, but for a $1 billion company,
they're making so much money.
Yeah.
And the thing also is that you should not be able to, after the fact, void a bet because think about it. Had the guy got 4 hits and this bettor would have lost all of his bets, I guarantee you they wouldn't have voided it and refunded him. They would have taken the money. If I accidentally, I'm not saying this has ever happened, say I went to go bet $7.50, but instead I forgot to hit the decimal and I typed in 7.5. if after I lose my bet on the Liverpool Reds or whatever their nickname is, and I lose that 70, I can't afterwards go back and be like, well, no, that was actually 750. I'm voiding that bet.
Hypothetically, if you were to do something like that, you'd be out of luck.
They're taking my money, so they should not be able to.
Is that part of DraftKings' argument was, this wager was significantly above what this guy would normally wager. So he ended up placing like $13,000 worth of bets, because it wasn't just one bet. He placed like multiple bets with some high money line NFL tie-ins. So if he, just to try and amp it up. But again, if he lost, they would have kept that 13,000 and said, thank you, have a nice day, thanks for playing.
Yeah, I don't, that is such scumbag behavior. Absolutely scumbag behavior.
Brian, I'd like to, I know, people that listen to the show, they really like it when we pull the curtain back and we show them a little bit of the behind the scenes, how the creative process works, how we come up with ideas, how we vet ideas. So I was just sitting around today. It was after my 20-minute power nap after lunch. Figuring out how more could I avoid work. So I came up with some ideas for some theme episodes for 2026. And I figured, why not just run them by you, run them by the fans, and see if these are things that we want to work into 2026. Are you good with that?
I'm definitely good.
All right. So my first thought, and again, a little avant-garde, but just go with me here. We do the entire episode with both of us doing Michael McDonald impersonations.
Ooh, I think I could see myself doing that. Oh, hold on. Johanna says that's a no
Brian,
for me, dog.
It's time for drink of the week.
Hey, bro, what are you drinking, Ron?
Bet with your head and not over it.
I love you, Brian, but you're my brother.
So I'll put that as a maybe. That's
a maybe. Yeah.
All right. The next one theme is Epstein file or release episode. That's where we speak just 1 out of every 10 words. Like everything else is redacted.
Johanna again says, that's a no for her. Wow.
But what's funny is I did a quick audience survey, and there was a lot of people supportive of only having to hear 10% of what you say.
Hurtful. Okay. That's going to a maybe. Let's put that as a maybe.
Put that as a maybe. Yeah. All right. The next one would be our cuck chair episode. And that's where you have to sit in a corner and watch me do an episode with another co-host.
Do I get to say anything, or is it just like
you can be encouraging? You can say, "Oh yeah."
Ask that deep question. Exactly. Yeah, okay. You know what? That's a yes. I like that.
That's a yes. All right. Perfect. The next one, I'm thinking like we have like a Freaky Friday episode where each of us pretends to be the other for an episode. Like we can even switch the cameras around and be like, "Hey, I'm Brian. Women are dumb and capitalism
sucks." If we're going to do it, hold on. If we're going to do it, I have to do it from your office, and you have to come to West New York, and you have to do it from here.
That's a lot of work.
Way to possibly do it. And you also have to leave the belts in that office.
All right. We'll put that down as a maybe then.
I like that idea.
Next one, influencer brain episode. Every take must be framed like an influencer post. So like, come with me for our beef of the week.
Hey guys. Yeah, I like that one. That one's a good one. I wonder what
excellent question from Billy about the Freaky Friday. Would I have to spend $900 at a strip club? I mean, really, if we're going for the authenticity, I think. Of course.
Absolutely. Right. And I'm going to take a nap after 20 minutes.
Just a couple more here. Corporate layoff language episode. Everything is framed like a corporate restructuring. Like, we've made the difficult decision to end this segment. This isn't a reflection of your performance, Brian.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one a lot.
And then finally,
I like it.
Crisis PR episode. We both actively manage a scandal that's never defined. We say things like we take these allegations seriously. We apologize for any confusion, but we never really say what's happened.
Listen, it's not that far from every episode we do. I walk a fine line before having to apologize. Yeah, I like
All
that.
right.
These are great.
I'm gonna say we're gonna do a number of these. So
I like that. I love the corporate downsizing combo.
um, last week this news came
You
in.
know,
Go
Ron,
ahead.
I thought we were going to have a lot more synergy when we brought together the beef of the week and the drink of the week. I thought there was going to be more synergy in the output there, but the focus groups were left wanting more.
So, Brian, while you have made some significant contributions to the podcast, it just makes more financial sense to outsource your side of this to someone I found on Fiverr in Bangladesh. So, I hope you're okay with that.
I would be okay. I would be. What if there's any way you could get somebody from Fiverr to do a podcast on current events with him? And so tell me, Shri, so what's going on in your neck of the woods? What's your beef of the week? Oh, I've been living in human sewage for the past week and a half. Oh, my mother's sleeping on the floor on a mat in the sewage.
So
But
I think we're going this episode's
hold on,
going
I'm not
viral
done
for
yet.
all the
I'm
wrong
not done yet.
reasons.
I'm not done yet, Ron. Oh, this is what happens when I drink Scotch whiskey. Oh no, so my mother is laying on the floor 3 inches deep in human sewage, Ron. But I'm so sorry that your Tavor box was damaged when it got delivered, and you were not able to drink the beers that you desired.
So let's see. I think making fun of people with disabilities and making fun of people from Bangladesh, I think that officially gets us canceled after this episode.
Who was the turkey on South Park? Remember there was one like Thanksgiving episode where there was like a turkey that Timmy adopted or whatever.
Why did I bring it up again?
And the
you would put it
turkey
to rest. Why did I bring it up again?
But they later on, by the way, I had no idea if it was a male or a female that they wheeled off. I could not tell gender. And keep in mind, in many cases nowadays, there's a lot of gender, so I shouldn't narrow it down to 2. Was it a they, them? I don't know. But I will say this. I had no idea what they wheeled off. I know it was human in nature. I guarantee you it was human in nature. Couldn't tell you what it was. The drool that must have been coming out. Oh, fucking hell.
All right. So anyway, as I was saying, our last episode ended before we got the news about police finding 2 deceased individuals at the home of Hollywood director Rob Reiner. Obviously, a lot of this has played out in the media since then. I mean, Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, murdered allegedly by son Nick, who apparently was facing drug addiction issues, mental health issues.
Schizophrenia. I heard today that he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia a month beforehand.
A lot of strange behavior the night before at a holiday party from Conan O'Brien. Apparently, Conan O'Brien told people not to call the police, call 911, and then just the rhetoric afterwards of because Rob Reiner was a critic of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has done, I would say, a lot of shitty things and said a lot of shitty things.
This was one of many shitty things that he had done.
Yeah.
Do you have this tweet that he put up?
I don't have it, and I don't even think it's worth giving it the justice that it was.
Understood.
But I don't, and I will say this, I don't know what it was about it, but it really brought me to a level of where I feel like we are unable to heal as a country in our in your and my lifetime. Like I had a slight glimmer of hope, and now it's like, if this is how separated people are, it's absolutely disgusting.
Well, you just the thing for me, the takeaway is you go through these years where you think of a guy like Rob Reiner, who's just had what you want to believe is just like this easy life. His father is Hollywood elite. One of the funniest guys from the 50s, just, grew up, Mel Brooks probably being like, basically his uncle, one of the original Nepo babies, if you want to call it. But he rose above that and showed that Rob Reiner, I mean, he had the goods. He was able to deliver the movies he did, Princess Bride. I don't trust anybody who doesn't have Princess Bride in their top 20 list of all time movies. I you know, and now, but
I
the
mean,
movies,
not just movies. He made legendary films that
yes,
I mean, you look at the run he had where he did This Is Spinal Tap, When
yep,
Harry Met Sally,
yep,
Princess Bride,
hmm,
Misery,
A
and
Few Good
others.
Men.
A Few Good Men. Jesus Christ, A Few Good
Yeah,
Men. And then looking at, you know, the movies that his production company did, like they played a clip of him from the Rich Eisen show last week, where Rich was interviewing Rob Reiner and talking about Stand By Me. Jesus Christ, we didn't even
mhm,
mention Stand By Me.
yeah, yeah,
And he talked about meeting Stephen King and how, you know, Stephen King was very hesitant to let him make this film, because
hmm,
if there is one thing that you can say, people have really made bad Stephen King movies. Like,
sure,
they've really
sure,
taken his books and made bad movies. And so he made sure that he screened that film to Stephen King. And he changed a piece in the movie from the book, and I don't remember what exactly it was. It was something towards the end of the film. And so when he got to the end of it, like, Stephen King was like, I'm going to need a few minutes to process this. And when he came back out, he said, you know what? He's like, that change you made, he's like, I should have written the book that way. He's like,
hmm, hmm,
you got this book. And the deal
yeah,
they have from that point forward is anytime Rob Reiner or his production company wanted to make a Stephen King book, Stephen King would license the book to them for $1 and then get, you know, a
yeah,
portion of the proceeds after that.
sure,
So,
sure.
like,
Backing it,
Shawshank
if you would.
Redemption was done by Rob Reiner's production
Sure,
company. So,
I didn't
like,
even know that.
just yeah, an amazing, yeah. And Janelle said, like, Misery, like, possibly the best Stephen King adaptation ever was
Of
Misery,
course,
in my mind.
of course. And yet, at the end of the day, this guy came home from these fantastical movies to a child, his own flesh and blood, who is struggling through life with substance problems, with mental health problems, and could not solve it with all the
Right.
resources that you think that a Rob Reiner would have access to. Like, I don't know anybody that I have gotten to any level of closeness with that doesn't have somebody in their family that's having some struggles.
Right.
And you sit there and you're like, oh, you know, like, you know, we're dealing with co-pays and, you know, in-network doctors. You know, I wish I was one of these Hollywood people. Like, you know, they've got it made. And at the end of the day, even a Rob Reiner is scared to go to bed at night because his son, who's staying out in the guest house, has threatened him enough that he and his wife are scared for their safety. Like,
Yeah.
money doesn't buy you. Like, it may buy, like, to a certain extent. It's nice to be reminded. Nice, not quite the right word. Blaming that one on the whiskey, people. Not nice. But when you realize that money does not always buy you, you know, a life on easy street.
Right.
You know, you
When you
may
have
have
all of
the
the
nicer car,
resources available, and
and
that was like the other kind of disheartening and disgusting thing is you have all of these talking heads on the far right side, the pro-life side, you know, saying, well, Rob Reiner deserved this because if that was how your kid turned out, then it had to be, you had to be a product of how
right,
you
right.
raised him.
Oh, fuck
You know,
those people.
oh, well, you
Fuck
should have
those
just
people.
kicked him out of your house eventually. Like,
Right.
that's the pro-life sympathetic side saying, oh, well, if your kid failed rehab, you shouldn't have let him in your home. Oh, if your kid was off his meds, you should have kicked him out, let him go be
Right.
homeless. But I think we need to focus less on that. And, you know, when they did the tribute show the other night on CBS, I think one of the things that was nice about it is they really, you know, they mentioned his passing, but they really didn't delve on that. They really spoke to
Yeah.
people that had worked with him. And again, the people he worked with, I mean, geez, Kathy Bates,
Yeah.
Albert Brooks, James Caan, like
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise. I mean, gee, I mean, I don't know about you, but like A Few Good Men, like if I'm flipping through the channels of the TV and A Few Good Men is on, I'm watching it the rest of the way through. I mean, there
Ron,
are very few perfect films, and I would argue that A Few Good Men is one of those.
did you order that code red? No. But every movie you just listed earlier in that stretch is the movie that will stop you flipping the channels
Yeah,
and put the remote
true.
down. If I'm flipping and I see Harry Met Sally, it doesn't even matter if it's the scene with Bruno Kirby talking to Princess Leia. I'm putting the remote down because I know the rest of the movie is going to be good for the next hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If I'm watching Kathy Bates sitting there being like, I'm your biggest fan. Remote's going down. I'm now committed for the next hour and 28 minutes. Like, any of those movies are all put the remote down and just enjoy a good movie.
This amplifier goes to 11. It's one high, isn't it?
However, there were some very hurtful words said recently about Spinal Tap 2 that some movie reviewers now regret the brutal nature of their comments.
And a good point from Billy. I mean, he could have retired after, playing Michael Stivic on All in the Family, and, he would still be talked about.
Yeah, no, real sad. Real sad. Just, senseless and meaningless. Just a meaningless death. Just, it's, and the thing is also this, and, I hope this is not a hot take, but that kid's going to come to his senses someday. He may have already done it. He may have woken up the next morning, and like the level of guilt that kid's going to experience at some point in his life. And if he doesn't, then I hope he rots in hell, because then he does not deserve another breath on this planet. But the level of guilt that kid should wake up one day and be like, "Oh my gosh, I killed my parents." The people that
because you have to think he's either going to be in prison for the rest of his life, or he's going to be in a mental facility for the rest of his life.
Sure.
Regardless, he's going to be someplace where he's going to be forcibly medicated if he's not going to medicate himself. And to your point, he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Also needs to be stated, his 20-year-old daughter, the one that supposedly found the parents. Can you imagine putting the key in the door? And I mean, the number of videos that I was not on my radar beforehand, but obviously they're being spread around. This girl's social media was almost all about her hanging out with her dad. Yeah. Like, they had such a beautiful, cherished relationship. It almost, you got a sense that they were genuine best friends, like that they were genuinely enjoyed each other's command. That, she comes home from she walks in, puts the key in the door. Supposedly they missed they had a massage therapist show up to the house for a weekly scheduled thing. They didn't answer the door, so the guy called the daughter. Daughter comes over worried, key in the door, can't find the parents, does a tour around the house to find them, sees them both with their throats slit in bed, which is basically the consensus of the state of the bodies, where they were found and how they were killed. Throat slit in bed.
And bad enough to find your parents murdered, but to then find out it was your own brother that was the one who did it.
Supposedly that was the first thing she said to cops. Was I think it was my brother. Like, fuck, it's so sad. It's such a wasted. Not like any deaths are some deaths are deserved. The rapists that die horrible deaths in prison. But it's just like these two didn't have to die. They could have lived.
Yeah. Next up, let's try and get a couple more stories in here. I know you like it when I can bring you bad stories from Pennsylvania, especially from Miami County. This is from Lower Gwinnett, Pennsylvania, in Montgomery County, where a principal is on administrative leave and faces termination after allegedly making anti-Semitic remarks. This is Philip Letty. He is principal of Lower Gwinnett Elementary School, reportedly made the comments after a phone call with a parent about a student issue. Apparently, he got the parent's voicemail, left a voicemail, thought he had disconnected the phone call, and then started making comments about the family to another district employee in the room. Let's see if I've queued this up properly.
Smell. They go to camp with Jew camp, and everyone at the camp hates this family.
So basically, if you couldn't hear that, he said, they're going to that Jew camp, and all the people at the camp hate that family.
Oh no.
So this guy, I know they're holding a hearing this week because they have to hold a hearing before they can fire him. They basically said they're going to fire this person, and also the district employee that he was making the comment to, that person has also been placed on leave because that person technically should have reported the principal about what he said.
Right.
So that person could potentially lose their job as well.
All right. Wow.
Fair. The principal at the very least should lose his job. Like,
Yes. Listen, once again, it's just Philadelphia acting terrible. Philly acting like Philly. Or this is more Pennsylvania or more Philly? Philly
I mean,
adjacent?
that's Philly adjacent, as you like to say.
Somehow you still hold your head up high. Ron, let me ask you a question.
All right.
What are you watching?
What am I watching? Still watching Pluribus. I have to say, did you watch this Friday's episode?
No, I've not. I think I'm a week behind.
So I will say
This was the
last
season
week,
finale, correct?
this was not the season finale. This is the second to last episode this
Okay,
Friday.
okay.
I would say last week and this week, very slow episodes.
Yeah.
Now, Apple TV did say they are going to drop the season finale this Wednesday.
So everybody can watch it on Christmas, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I am hopeful that it redeems itself. Again, I think it was a strong start, kind of stumbled a bit in the middle. The last two episodes, the pacing was very slow, but I'm hopeful that it picks up. What the hell else did we watch? I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of good stuff on. I'm looking forward to the next few episodes of Stranger Things dropping on Christmas night. I think that's been solid.
Sure.
But other than that, I haven't been watching a lot. What about yourself, my friend?
What did I watch? Okay, so I watched the first season of Mercedes Man, talking about shitty Stephen King adaptations. I read the first book of the series, the Bill Hodges trilogy, I guess you would want to call it. Really enjoyed the series. TV show, just fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was decent. Personally.
I think that the kid that played the protagonist was good. I thought that hiring a Irish or Scottish actor to play a police detective in Ohio just seemed like such a bad casting decision, without ever explaining how this heavy accented Englisher ends up in a small town in Ohio. Just you can't ignore these types of casting decisions. Did not enjoy that. Watched a very good comedy special, Robbie Hoffman, on Netflix. You probably did not see it. It's directed by John. Forgot his name. Not John Cusack. John Mulaney. Directed by John Mulaney. Robbie Hoffman. She is a Canadian, I think, from the Toronto area. She grew up in an Orthodox Jewish household before deciding that she was gay and needed to get the fuck out of the Orthodox community in Toronto. Moves down to Brooklyn, lives and starts living in New York as a out lesbian. Really a good hour, just a solid hour. William Esquire and I saw her open up for David Cross maybe 2 years ago. But she stayed on my radar. So when I saw she had an hour-long special on Netflix, I checked it out. Very funny. I found myself laughing along to it. Also watched the new David Chappelle special that dropped just recently.
I've heard mixed reviews about that.
You're not going to laugh because it's not a comedy. He doesn't write jokes anymore. He's elevated himself to more of just a social commentary is really his sweet spot. Really well-crafted bits. But, at one point I was watching with my lady and I looked over and I was just like, you're not enjoying this, are you? And she just went like this. She was like, it's not funny. And I was like, I don't think he writes jokes anymore. He'll do a 20-minute thing about how society is wrong.
But can't you be both? Like, I mean, George Carlin found a way to do social commentary and be hilarious.
And always work jokes into it. There's not a lot of jokes here. But he does bits on going to the Middle East for the Saudi Arabian Film Festival. Does some other bits about heavyweight boxer Jack Johnson. Clever, very clever, not funny. Glad I watched it. Also, I feel like I'm missing something. I watched the new Knives Out mystery with
Oh, well, how do you like that?
007. This is the worst one of them all. And I did not like Ed Norton. I did not like the Ed Norton, the Glass Onion one, but at least it had my interest. This one, James Brolin plays a wild, over-the-top priest who is in some small parish, and he ends up dead. Who did it? Not good. This one was stupid. You should watch it for the simple fact of watch it to see how long it takes you to figure out who did it.
Okay.
I don't think it's particularly clever.
I will let you know.
And then last on the plane over, you can see I spent a lot of time on the plane watching TV. Is I watched the ESPN documentary that's on Netflix right now. Who Killed the Montreal Expos?
Oh, that was good.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Really a true sign of what happens when the money people take over a sport. It reminds you that this is a business and not entertainment whatsoever. I watched that. That was pretty much it.
Let's get one more story in because you tried to cut off a bad story about the state of New Jersey, where apparently people are now killing others with bows and arrows. This was in Kearney, New Jersey on Saturday night, where a man fatally shot another man with a bow and arrow, and then barricaded himself in a home before setting fire to it. Now, the piece of the story that I would like to draw your attention to is a witness, John Kalicki, said around 8:30 on Saturday, he said he saw a man in front of a liquor store before calling police. He said, when I first came here, he was lying there and it sounded like he was snoring. I thought he was sleeping. Then when I came out the second time, he wasn't snoring or nothing. That's when I saw the arrow in his back. So guy probably was alive the first time he came out. Second time, not so much. And that's when he's like, all right.
That's why it's New Jersey. Who the heck is calling me? That's why when you guys have what you like to call Philly adjacent, we've got Jersey, okay? You guys do the fent lean.
Like a carnival.
Carney.
Like Carney free.
Carney. You've got the fentanyl lean in Kensington. We've got bows and arrow murders. That's what we do here in Jersey.
Do you think the person that was wheeled off that plane lives in Kearney?
Probably yes. If you're in Kearney, you don't travel very much. You're kind of based there.
I'm going to cut Brian off before he says anything else offensive, because we really like to save that for behind the paywall, which if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you're not able to join us on our After Dark episode. If you go to cultofronandbrian.com, click in the upper right-hand corner, join at the $10 a month level or higher. We'll send you the link for After Dark, which is going to be taking place in about 20 minutes. Good point, Brian. It's called the Fenty Fold. Get it right.
There you go. Fenty Fold.
Quick aside, I saw, people put, I don't know if they're legitimate dumb posts or if they're just rage bait posts, but someone posted a photo of New York, people bent over in the fentanyl fold, but attributing it to Donald Trump decriminalizing marijuana nationwide.
No.
So again, it's very tough. Listen, all I go on Twitter now for is for like gambling predictions and things like that. The amount of stupidity on Twitter is at a high. It is so high above all the other platforms.
But it wasn't that long ago that it came out that a lot of these Twitter accounts that are seemingly like, large and heavily they're all fake accounts that are following. Like the amount of traffic that's actually on Twitter, the amount of actual support there, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
We act like people are still on Twitter, but it's not there.
Yeah, people don't care. I saw. Do you ever see the Subway Takes that video series on TikTok?
The guy holds up a Metro card and
yeah. So he was actually over in London. Surprised you didn't run into him. But he asked someone their takes, and this one was like, I don't think we should point out AI to boomers because it makes them too, it just makes them too happy. Like if my father wants to believe that Bill Clinton's become a Muslim, then just let him believe it. What's the damage?
You know what? I that's not bad. That's not bad. I can stand behind that.
And she was like, and inshallah, hopefully that'll happen sometime.
Inshallah. I love it. Well done.
All right. Well,
we done?
I think, listen, a fantastic episode. Welcome back to
maybe
the
we do
Faith,
this
my
on
friend.
Mondays more.
But I think we need to send a very heartfelt Merry Christmas out to all of our people out there that celebrate. We're just a few days away from the holidays. Grab your loved ones, hold them tight, and remind them, whisper in their ear, the work is so important. Brian, anything else before we cut out of here?
Merry Christmas, folks.
All right, there you have it. Folks, be well. We will see you Sunday night.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.